Beneath the seemingly peaceful river, a giant force rises. The predators will have to run away, and the battle is about to begin. The wild Serengeti, the fierce confrontation between hippos and predators. The Serengeti is not only a vast land in northern Tanzania, but also the beating heart of wild Africa. Here, the wind carries the scent of dry grass and dust blowing across the endless savanna, where every step of the migrating herd resonates like an ancient symphony of life. Under the blazing sky, where light and darkness are always struggling at every moment, life is never easy. Every blade of grass, every roar, every chase contains stories of life and death. The Serengeti is a place where beauty and danger blend together, where every gaze reflects a part of the endless struggle between hope and despair. In the murky waters of the Serengeti, there is a creature that looks slow but is truly terrifying. The hippo, the silent giant. With a massive body that can weigh up to 300 to 500 kilograms, thick, dark grey skin. Although they look slow, they can run surprisingly fast on land and swim skillfully underwater. Hippos live most of their time in rivers or swamps to stay cool, only coming ashore at night to graze. They are highly territorial, especially the males, who are ready to open their mouths wide to show off their fangs that are more than half a meter long when threatening or fighting. Their mating season is usually in the dry season, from May to August, when the river level drops, forcing many individuals to gather in the same area, creating favorable conditions for choosing a mate and defending the territory. The murky water shimmers with a copper color, reflecting two massive bodies standing opposite each other. They are two adult male hippos. They were huge, dark grey, their backs covered with dry mud. The air was thick and heavy. Suddenly, they charged at each other. After a few minutes, the fight ended. The loser was wounded. It was forced to retreat. The fight was not just a show of strength, but a fight to determine who would have the right to continue the bloodline. and on the red water in the sunset, victory was only for those who refused to bow their heads. Mating usually takes place underwater, where only the female's head is exposed to breathe, while the male uses his strength to hold her from behind. After about 8 months of pregnancy, the female hippo will seek out quiet water to give birth, usually only one at a time. The newborn baby weighs from 25 to 50 kilos, can suckle underwater and quickly learns to surface to breathe within seconds of birth. For the first few months of its life, it is closely protected by its mother from crocodiles, lions, and even aggressive males in the herd. Despite its ferocious appearance, hippos are also creatures with quite complex communication abilities. They create sounds underwater by vibrating their vocal cords and can even transmit sounds through both water and air. Loud roars, loud snorts from their nostrils, or sounds like laughter all have different meanings, from territorial warnings to calling for mates. The main food of hippos is grass, especially short grasses that grow along rivers, swamps, or on plains. They forage mostly at night. An adult can eat 30 to 40 kilograms of grass, enough to maintain its enormous body mass. Although hippos do not eat meat, their strength is enough to make any predator think twice before attacking. Hippos do not have sweat glands like most other mammals. Instead, their bodies secrete a special pinkish mucus, commonly known as blood sweat. Even though they spend most of their time underwater, this thin layer not only protects their sensitive skin from harsh ultraviolet rays, but also prevents infections in dirty water environments. In the midst of these seemingly peaceful waters, the shadow of danger still lurks along the dry, grassy shores. The shadows that silently hide in the bright sunlight do not belong to the world of water, but come from the land. Lion, ruler of the savannah. Adult males can weigh from 150 to 250 kilograms, possessing a thick mane that surrounds the head and neck like a crown of authority. It is both a symbol of maturity and a natural armor that protects in battles. The lion's body is solid, with clearly developed muscles in the shoulders and front legs, allowing them to launch lightning-fast pounces with terrible power. The lion's coat is usually yellow or light brown, helping them easily blend into the arid savanna. The eyes are large with round pupils, supported by a reflective layer behind the retina, helping them see clearly in low light conditions. Lions are highly social animals. A pride usually consists of 1 to 3 adult males, several females and young individuals. Each pride protects a large territory marked by urine, roars and regular patrols. Mating season is not fixed, but occurs all year round, depending on the physiological cycle of the female. When in heat, the female will emit signals with sounds and postures, attracting the attention of the male. A pair can mate several times a day, and continuously for several days. This process is to ensure the highest chance of conception. After conception, the female will be pregnant for about 110 days before finding a secluded place away from the pride to give birth. Each litter usually has 2 to 4 cubs, which are blind and completely dependent on the mother. For the first 6 to 8 weeks, the mother will raise her cubs in secret, away from threats from strange males or other predators. When the cubs are old enough to keep up with the pride, they will return to the group and be cared for by other females in the pride. The main prey of lions are seasonal migratory herbivores such as antelope, zebra or buffalo. However, in some rare and particularly fierce situations, hippos will also become a target on the lion's prey list. On the cracked ground by the riverbank, where the trees cast long shadows under the harsh sunlight of the early dry season, a pride of lions was resting in silence, breathing slowly. The riverbank was still an ideal gathering place for lions, because this was where many prey were forced to drink water during the dry season. And then, as if by a coincidence of fate, the thing they were not chasing came before their eyes. A soft croak sounded from the riverbed. A dark grey, massive, and wet mass rose from the water. It was an adult hippo, and it was alone. The pride of lions suddenly tensed up. Without needing to exchange words, their predatory instincts told them that an opportunity had just opened up. The hippo moved to the bank. The leader of the lions gave the signal. The pride dispersed, moving gracefully and almost silently in the dry grass. Every step was calculated. They knew the danger. Attacking an adult hippo was a life-or-death gamble. The skin was too thick, the strength too great unexpectedly. The hippo threw itself up. Not a single blow was successful. The hunt ended without bloodshed. With absolute strength and sudden fury, the hippo forced the entire herd to retreat, leaving behind an expensive lesson in the middle of the fiery steppe. Not everyone who remained silent was easily subdued. Dusk fell, dyeing the steppe with a reddish-orange color like smoldering coals. The roars and noises of the confrontation gradually faded away, leaving behind a silence as if nothing had ever happened. The sun sank below the horizon. The gentle wind carried cool water vapor from the winding river. The hippo herd slowly returned to their own world, sliding down into the murky water as if they had never left. The antelopes and baboons also retreated from the grass bank one by one, returning to their familiar safe zone. And when the storm passed, a small creature landed on the hippo's back as if nothing had happened. The red plover. With a long, slender body, about 20 centimeters long, this bird has brown feathers that fade to a lighter shade towards the belly, round, red eyes like pomegranate seeds, and a distinctive bright red beak. It is both a foraging tool and a prominent identification mark in the grasslands. Red plovers do not fly around like seed-eating birds, nor do they forage in trees like woodpeckers. They have a special habit, clinging to the bodies of large animals such as buffalo, antelope, and especially hippos, to find parasites, ticks, fleas, and even open wounds. Their sharp, curved beaks can preen feathers, peck lightly, and pick out individual ticks from the most sensitive skin areas. The relationship between plovers and hippos is a special form of symbiosis. The birds are provided with abundant food, and the hippos are cleaned. Their itching is reduced, and especially they warn of danger. Plovers have the ability to detect predators from afar, immediately emitting a characteristic shrill cry, attracting the attention and caution of hippos. Therefore, many hippos almost allow plovers to stand on their backs without showing any discomfort. Although small, red plovers are an indispensable part of the ecological picture of the Serengeti. Not only do they feed off the bodies of large animals, but they also help maintain the health of hippos. A silent, strange, yet strong bond between two completely different species. The Serengeti exhales in a temporary silence, a brief lull in the storm of survival instinct. The peace has not lasted long. The water surface has begun to waver. Not by wind, but by silent movements, slithering as lightly as breathing. Under the deep black water, long shadows begin to appear. No sound, no trace, just rough backs like boulders gliding close to the face. Nile crocodiles, ancient and dangerous predators of the Mara River. Their bodies are up to 6 meters long, covered with thick scales like armor, brown and moss green, helping them completely disappear in the murky water. The The eyes and nostrils are located high on the head, allowing the crocodile to observe and breathe while the rest of the body is deep below the surface. Sharp teeth with more than 60 conical teeth with a bite force of up to 3,000 psi, making each bite a death sentence. This is a reptile with a special reproductive habit and a strong primitive character. In the dry season, when the water level drops, the male begins to establish a territory along the rivers and shallow lakes, emitting roars to attract females. The displays of strength take place underwater. After fertilization, the female crocodile will choose a dry, sandy beach, usually near the water's edge, to dig a nest. They create a deep hole and lay 25 to 80 eggs in it. From the moment they are born, baby crocodiles face danger. The survival rate is extremely low. Only a few can mature after many years, hunt and learn to become an enemy no one wants to confront in the riverbed. As a typical ambush species, crocodiles do not chase their prey like lions or cheetahs. They lurk in silence, waiting for hours to strike their one strike. In the blazing midday sun of the Serengeti, the river glistens like silver. Waves ripple. The herd of hippos swims across the deep water, each giant body rising to breathe and then diving back down gently. They are not wary. This is their territory. There is no reason to worry. But just below the bright surface, a dark figure is quietly approaching. An adult crocodile is watching. Its eyes are narrowed, locked on a young individual that has broken away from the center of the herd, only a few fathoms away. The sunlight slants across the water, making its back seem to melt into the river. The distance is shortening bit by bit. The crocodile's initiative to attack the young hippo has angered the mother. No longer a slow-moving creature, but a rage machine. They charge. The hunt is over. The predator now becomes the loser under the herd of prey. When the hippos gradually quiet down, returning to a steady breathing rhythm, what remains is not only the ripples spreading far and wide, a profound lesson for the hunters in the river. Touching a child is to anger an entire dynasty. In the midst of life and death battles on the grasslands, not everyone directly hunts, but still lives off the death of others. They do not need to strike, do not need to waste energy, just wait for the chaotic moment to squeeze into the bloody feast. Those are opportunists. Spotted hyenas, Africa's most notorious carnivore, have a strange and confusing appearance. Their bodies are low and front-heavy, with shoulders higher than hips, creating a characteristic crouching gait. Their thick, Rough, greyish-yellow fur with black spots helps them hide well among tall grass. Their round ears, small but sharp eyes, always closely observe all surrounding movements. They have large skulls, extremely strong jaws, and superiorly developed back molars, allowing them to crush even large bones. Hyenas are not only opportunists, but also have a complex and strict social system. They live in large packs of up to several dozen individuals, led by a dominant female. Unlike most other carnivores, in spotted hyenas, females are larger, more aggressive and more powerful than males. Mating only occurs when the female allows it. After about 110 days of pregnancy, female hyenas usually give birth to 1 to 3 cubs in a hidden den. The cubs are born with eyes open, teeth, and fierce competition with each other from the beginning. Between lions and hyenas, clashes often occur. Not to fight for life, but to win the remaining meat after each hunt. Hyenas are the first to arrive after a hunt. Because of their overwhelming numbers when traveling in packs, they often gather around the carcass, growling, waiting for an opening to snatch each piece of meat. In many cases, they even dare to confront each other directly. After the new hunt of the lion pride is a young hippo, the smell of the prey has attracted the uninvited guest. The party does not last as long as they wish. The sun is still burning overhead. Short black shadows begin to quietly appear. The hyenas move silently, their eyes shining. Cautious footsteps, each gaze scrutinizing. The herd dispersed, surrounding the hippo's body behind the bushes. The lions charged. After a while, the hyenas fled. The lions came as a warning. Not every hunt ended with a share. It was no longer a meal. It was a declaration of war. And here, the scavengers dared to challenge the predators, turning the fight for prey into a test of survival between the two dominant species. Just like that, the cycle of survival in the Serengeti never stopped. Every day was a new chapter between darkness and light, between predator and prey, between silence and roar. Hippos do not hunt. But when challenged, they fight back like warriors forged by thousands of years of evolution. And it is the solidarity, the strength of character, and the will to die that make hippos one of the species that few dare to underestimate. If you love the relentless battles for survival and admire the courage of a species willing to stand up to protect its own life, subscribe to the channel and press the notification bell to continue accompanying us on fierce journeys in the wild. The African savanna, where the sun not only warms but also burns, where every blade of grass bears the footprints of the hunter. This is the wild stage of the uncompromising confrontation between life and death. And it is also where the cheetah, the hunter, survives with speed, silence, and fights alone against the world. African savanna, cheetah, and the battle for life and death. We often refer to the lion as the king of the savanna. But not everyone born in the middle of a sunburnt field has the privilege of roaring. Some are born to survive quietly. Others must learn to survive from their first breath. Under the dry, sunburned grass, amidst the watchful gazes of vultures and hyenas, the tiny life still stubbornly takes root. No noise, no show. Only steady breathing, wary eyes, and the survival instinct permeating every hair. That was the beginning of Kaya, a small soul in the harsh land. In a corner of the scorching grassland, there lived a small cheetah family, quiet, lonely, but resilient. Before becoming a lone warrior in the vast grassland, Kaya was a baby, the smallest of 4 siblings, hiding under the thick bushes where her mother chose to make her nest. Kaya's body was small, only the size of a house cat. Her fur was as shaggy as wild grass, dotted with unclear black streaks. On her back, a long strip of fur stuck out like a fake mane, the perfect camouflage that helped her blend into the dry grass, fooling even the fiercest predators. Kaya's childhood was filled with cautious steps, hasty licks, and her mother's ever-watchful eyes. Kaya learned to be quiet at an early age, to be quiet when the gibbons howled, when the lion's shadows stretched across the grass, and even when her mother was so hungry that she could not leave her cubs to hunt. One morning, as the sun was just breaking through the thin mist, Kaya, small and bewildered, poked her head out from the bushes. Everything outside was strange and fascinating to her. A tall ostrich walked slowly in the distance. Then a herd of zebras thundered across the savannah, their hooves crunching on the dry ground. Kaya watched, her tiny legs immediately running after her, her short legs tangled in the grass, but her heart filled with excitement. She ran a little further, then a little further, until a low, sharp, short roar rang out behind her. The mother cheetah, her eyes both angry and frightened, appeared in a matter of seconds. Without hesitation, she gently bit Kaya's neck, carrying her back like a small prey that had just lost its herd. Kaya was bewildered and didn't understand what was happening. But Mother didn't say anything. She just silently put Kaya back between her brothers and sisters and turned her head to look far away, where the grass was shaking with something unnamed. There, danger was always lurking. Kaya often followed her brothers, her short legs covered with soft fur, struggling with each jump. She tried to catch up with the fake chases, as if it was the first prey in her life. Although weaker and smaller, Kaya had bright eyes, the eyes of someone born to run, to overcome dangers with speed and instinct. Every day, there would always be a peaceful moment when the whole flock curled up around their mother, nestled close to her large body that was radiating gentle warmth through her short, velvety fur. It was a thin but sturdy shield, the only thing that separated them from the predatory eyes that were silently lurking in the darkness. Kaya's small ears always twitched slightly whenever there was a strange noise, a broken branch, a gust of wind, but her mother was always the first to react. And with sharp instincts she immediately jumped up, her strong body shielding the entire flock of trembling cubs behind her. Kaya did not understand all the dangers that surrounded her, but she knew one thing: this world was vast and cruel, but here, next to her mother, she was safe. And that, for a small leopard cub, was everything. Then the innocent days gradually faded away, giving way to increasingly steady steps. Kaya's brothers grew taller, their bodies more solid, their eyes sharper, and their teasing now took on the appearance of real training. Instinct urged them to step out of their mother's protective arms, not to separate, but to begin their journey as a real hunting group. After their mother left, the male leopards remained together. They became an alliance, a small coalition often made up of siblings, working together to hunt, protect each other, and assert their position in the harsh land. They bonded like a silent army, stronger, more confident when they walked together. That was the path of the male leopard, a collective journey built from blood and survival instinct. The sunlight slanted through the thin layer of dust, casting mottled streaks of light on the ground. In the middle of the dry grassland, Kaya's three brothers approached step by step, lowering themselves to the ground like three silent golden shadows, aiming at a zebra. The perfect prey for a fast hunt. They didn't need any orders. Each male cheetah knew his place, instincts trained since he followed his mother to hunt. Unlike other predators who rely on collective strength, cheetahs rely on perfect coordination and unparalleled speed. Suddenly, all three charged at the same time. The cheetah, the fastest runner on the planet, can reach speeds of up to 100 km/h in just a few seconds. One turn, one fall. The prey was locked. No chance of escape. The male cheetah, fast, precise, coordinated as if born to do so. They didn't need the strength of the pack, just speed and tactics. As for Kaya, as the only female in the herd, her path was different. It did not go with its brothers. In its mother's eyes, Kaya saw a gentle peace of mind mixed with a hint of anxiety that was hard to hide. The farewell did not take place with tears, but with the familiar silence of the leopard. No one said anything. Only one day, its mother stood up after her afternoon nap, walked away and never looked back. It was a strange moment, not exactly sad nor completely empty. Because deep down, Kaya knew it would come. Its mother had taught it long enough, well enough. Now it was time for it to step into life on its own. From that moment on, Kaya officially embarked on a lonely journey, like every other female leopard in its species' life cycle. There was no one to go first, no mother's shadow protecting it from behind, no more nights snuggling up against its mother's back to sleep. Kaya began to learn how to live alone, hunt alone, protect herself. And even though she still sometimes remembered the familiar footsteps in the grass, she knew this was the time for her to grow up. On the first day of hunting alone, Kaya was so hungry that his stomach churned. The wind carried the pungent scent of antelopes in the distance, a herd of impalas grazing leisurely in the afternoon sun. Kaya lowered himself, quietly approaching. With no mother to support him, no brothers to surround him, everything now rested on his 4 skinny legs. A stumble shook the grass. The impalas were startled. Kaya immediately charged. The first steps were determined, but still clumsy. Speed was there, but not enough to kill. He chased until he was exhausted, then out of breath, then stopped in the middle of the bare grass. The prey escaped. The hunger was still there. Bitterness rose in his throat. Kaya lay flat on his back, breathing heavily, his eyes looking far away. No one blamed him. No one comforted him. But somewhere his instinct urged him to stand up. And he did. Failure is just a necessary part of the survival lesson. Kaya did not win today, but he learned something important. To survive, he had to become sharper, faster, more patient. Because no one lives for a female leopard to grow up. And no one stops to wait for him to catch up. In the following days, Kaya became quieter. He no longer rushed forward when he saw prey. Instead, he learned to be patient, lying in wait for hours in the shade, observing every step, every smallest movement of the antelope herd. He practiced walking against the wind, learned to recognize which cubs were lost, which were easily separated from the herd. His jumps gradually became more decisive, more powerful. And then one morning, when the dew was still on the grass, Kaya saw his first opportunity. A lost young impala. No sound, no extra breath. Kaya dashed like a streak of lightning. The chase lasted only a few seconds, but this time, unlike before, Kaya did not miss. She brought down her prey with a precise pounce. She did it. For the first time, Kaya fed herself. From that moment on, she was no longer a cub. She was a real hunter, just like her mother had been. The first rains of the season began to fall on the steppe, washing away the dry dust of the hot months. The grass grew green, the puddles filled up, and the antelopes became more abundant. Nature seemed to be revived. And at that moment, the reproductive instinct rose strongly in every creature. Mating season began. Kaya, now a mature female with a slender but muscular body, marked her territory with light scent trails along the path. It was the silent language of the leopards, a message to the males who roamed the vicinity. And then he appeared. A full-grown male, larger than Kaya, with calves as hard as bowstrings, his golden eyes sharp but not fierce. He followed Kaya's scent, silently like a ghost in the grass. There was no chase, no clash. Just two solitary creatures finding each other in a moment of instinct, leading the way. They did not cling together like other species. Mating in leopards is a brief, tense, even violent union. But in those instinctive moments, Kaya sensed something deeper, a continuity. because if things were as nature had planned, this very encounter would sow the seeds of the next generation. After the brief mating, the male left, as all males of his species do. Kaya was alone again. But now, inside her, there was another life growing every day. Her maternal instincts began to rise with every step, every breath. Kaya became more cautious, hunting regularly but not recklessly. She avoided areas with many lions, avoiding places that were too empty or noisy. Every day, Kaya wandered looking for the perfect hiding place, thick bushes, deep crevices, high dry mounds, any place that could make a safe nest for her unborn cubs. She became quiet, to the point of being invisible. The steppe was now at the peak of the rainy season. The grass was thick, frogs and insects chirped every night. Nature was full of life, and it was also the time when danger was more present than ever. Kaya knew well, just one mistake, one exposed trace, and the enemy could come. And in her belly, the tiny fetuses were waiting to open their eyes to be born. The time of change was coming, not just for Kaya, but for an entire generation. The morning sun filtered through the leaves, spreading gold on the ground still damp after days of rain. In a hidden corner under the dense bushes, Kaya lay curled up, her body tightly embracing the tiny newborn creatures. They were only the size of a human fist, their thin fur dotted with pale spots, their eyes not yet open, moving slightly in their weak breaths. Kaya licked each one, slowly and carefully, as if touching the most precious thing in the world. Her mother's heartbeat was trembling in the first sacred moment. The leopard nest was peaceful in the gentle sunlight. But out there, the steppe was still a harsh arena. And Kaya, though exhausted, had officially entered her new role, protector, guide, and the only hope of survival for the three tiny creatures. In the early days, Kaya hardly left the nest. She hunted quickly, neatly, and returned just before the sun rose high. The children grew, eyes wide, slender legs beginning to walk, tottering through the thick grass, always in sight of their mother. When they were strong enough to follow, Kaya began to lead them out of the shade. It was no longer playtime. It was time to learn how to live. Kaya crouched quietly in the grass, her eyes on a group of prey grazing nearby. The children watched, ears perked up, feet lifted and put down clumsily. Kayla rushes out to demonstrate. The prey runs. The chase ends. She brings back a young prey, alive but exhausted. She drops it in front of her 3 children, then steps back. No instructions. Just a cold gaze and a meaningful silence. The children are confused. Kaya stands still. No intervention, no praise. This is the first lesson in life. Hunting is instinct, but to survive, they must master it. When they are young, every step the cubs take is like gambling with fate. With their small bodies, the smell of colostrum still on their fur, they become easy targets for countless predators, hyenas, eagles, even snakes and lions. At the slightest strange noise, Kaya immediately turns her head, ears erect, body tense as a bowstring. She never sleeps deeply. She only closes her eyes for short periods. Every time the child cries softly, she wakes up with a start. When hunting, Kaya always took a detour, avoiding the trail leading back to the nest. The grass tilted, the wind changed direction, an unusual streak of bird droppings. All could be signs of someone lurking. Kaya was always ready to fight, despite her body being thin from hunger and exhaustion after giving birth. Because in this world, if she was not careful, the whole litter could disappear without a trace. Late afternoon. The last rays of sunlight dyed the ground golden. Kaya's children were playing around their mother. Kaya stood there, ears pricked, eyes fixed on the grass in the distance. Then she heard it. A heavy footstep. Slow. Confident. Not a gazelle. Not a hyena. A lion, the most dangerous enemy of the young cubs. A male lion was approaching, his large head shaking gently in the sunlight, his golden eyes darting around. He He didn't need to hunt. He just needed to eliminate any future generations of predators that might compete. Kaya knew she was no match, but she did not run away. She rushed out, darting across the lion's face, growling softly, her tail erect, her feet stomping the ground. A provocative move. She deliberately wanted to attract its attention, to lead it in another direction. The lion hissed, changed direction. Kaya ran, looking back, choosing a zigzag path through the tall grass, the trees. A breathless chase, not for food, but for the lives of the three little creatures huddled in the nest. After a few minutes, the lion got bored and left. Kaya turned around, quietly returning to the nest. The cubs were still lying there, unaware that they had just escaped the jaws of death. She lay down, breathing heavily, her eyes still open. And as always, no one witnessed, no glory, only a mother's instinct. On the steppe where life is always challenged by death, Kaya is not the strongest nor the fastest. But she is the embodiment of perseverance, of maternal instinct, of the spirit of not giving up. No need for roar. No need for glory. Just by silence, Kaya protects the most important thing, life. If Kaya's story touches you, don't forget to leave a comment, share your thoughts on this journey. Click subscribe to the channel to join us in discovering more extraordinary creatures across the wild planet. A small share is a big voice for nature.